You already know how to train, program, diets, all this basic stuff. Everyone knows this now. But you're undermining the life you're supposed to have outside of training. Hey bro, I'm Orpheus, a 15-year-old calisthenics athlete. I can do like 60 kilo dips, 40 kilo pull ups, learn the handstand push up in a couple days. Back when I was only focused on training and over optimizing everything, my results were so bad because I would go to the gym thinking that was the only thing that had meaning. And so I would push super hard, like push to failure on every set. Unlike now, where I focus on making a good program from the beginning. And so I can just sprint towards it while making super good gains, having an actual social life, having fun, doing actual self improvement, and being able to focus on my goals as well as outside of training. This is the easiest stuff I'll talk about that'll get you the most results. This is the 80-20 stuff. You'll get 80% of the results from 20% of the work. First off, do stuff you'll look back to and think is cool. It's kind of a story that you're gonna tell. There are three ways to spend your time. You can spend it productively, negatively, or experimentally. So productively, you know like what this is. This is like the self-improvement, meditation, working out, reading, sleeping, stuff like that. And negative stuff are like doing drugs, wasting time, scrolling, stuff like that. And experimental are these things that can benefit you indirectly. This is mainly what I'm going to be talking about. These are things like talking to people, meeting people, talking to your friends, family. These are things like adventures, going somewhere new, or meeting people, like going to the gym or cold approaching, or talking somewhat meaningfully, not just like rambling about whatever, but talking somewhat meaningfully with friends and family. These are unmeasurable things. You can't count them. The experimental way of spending your time is something you are definitely not doing. Why I think it's so special is because these are the things that'll kind of give you a boost, a little bit of a reason to keep going. When you do the productive habits, you feel productive. When you do the bad habits, you don't like feel good. But these experimental things give you like a little like kind of like a spike in different things that happen. Like, like okay, you'll be productive, you'll be kind of like negative, like you'll do whatever, but these adventures kind of give like a spike of like dopamine kind of happiness, interesting things that happen, like adventures. You just like go out somewhere, and this will make you motivated to come back to the gym as you'll kind of be gathering experiences. And so your gym will kind of be the constant place you come back to, but they'll be branching out to different things. And you'll be able to have this motivation to come back because you won't be sick of it. It won't be the only thing that you're doing. Yes, your goal should always be to like have more positive habits and do less negative stuff, right? But this experimental stuff kind of gives you a spike and kind of like does everything, doesn't really put the negative stuff up, but it gives you like a spike on the good stuff. And especially if your stats are kind of like in the middle right now, if you're able to spike that good stuff, you'll eventually bring the baseline of that good stuff up. And so you'll have less motivation to do the bad stuff. Next up is sleep. Sleep is super important, and yes, it's kind of like overpopularized, like kind of everyone knows it, like that it's important, whatever. But let me give you some things you might not know about it, like some benefits. First off, you have your testosterone, right? Testosterone is mainly produced in sleep, most of it. And so if you sleep more, especially if you have quality sleep, let me talk about that soon, your testosterone levels are guaranteed to go up, like technically guaranteed, because more testosterone is produced in sleep. And so, to up the quality of your sleep, there are a couple of different factors. First off is the consistency of your sleep, like when you wake up and when you go to sleep, because your body has a circadian rhythm. Essentially, this is your body clock. And so if it knows what time you're going to fall asleep and wake up, what'll happen is it'll better like essentially schedule, right? Your body will schedule these like different parts of sleep. And so you'll actually properly get the different parts of sleep. And so your body will be able to like essentially clear out all the waste you've had instead of kind of skipping on the taking out the waste parts of sleep. Another part of setting your circadian rhythm is going out in the sun. And so this kind of goes all together with like the consistency of your sleep, like not looking at screens before you go to sleep, but also the way to set up your circadian rhythm in the morning is to go in the sun, like when you wake up, like directly when you wake up, or maybe within 30 minutes. Like the closer you wake up and you go in the sun, the better, because it'll be, technically more accurate. And so the reason why you need this is because your body needs to know it's like wake up time, and this will like set up that, okay, this is the time I need to be waking up. And then when you go to sleep, that'll be the consistent time you'll go to sleep. You might not know this, but the sun actually has blue light. And so if you're looking at blue light before you go to sleep, like from screens, right? Artificial blue light, what'll happen is your mind will think that that's the sun. And so it just won't go to sleep because it thinks that this is the wake up time. And so you can see how this is going to absolutely mess up your like circadian rhythm. So um essentially go in the sun when when you wake up, but also definitely use like the night light filter on your phone or on whatever screens you're using. But optimally, you don't want to use your screens like half an hour to an hour before you go to sleep. Most people don't do that. I know it's fine, whatever. But try to use the night light filter. Try to get the brightness as low as possible, because less brightness is less blue light. And so essentially you just turn down the brightness as low as possible. Some phones also have an extra dim feature that I have on my phone, which makes it like ultra dim, and so I can just like read in my bed before I go to bed, like read in my bed before I go to sleep, or like watch it like a video, whatever. Usually I don't watch a video, but chill stuff, essentially, like reading, seeing these like whatever, like chill videos. Also importantly, talking, right? Talking to friends, talking to family. This is kind of this definitely goes into the first thing that I talked about, this experimental way of spending your time. And so you can just add this easily into your like routine by doing it before you go to sleep if you can. And because sleep is so important, people have found really easy ways to optimize it. It is the highest return on investment thing you can optimize. Like, let me just give you some super easy ways. First off is get like blackout curtains, or use blackout curtains if you don't have them, if you have them already. And also use an eye mask as well. This is the one like I was using, but essentially you combine those two to have no light. So when you open your eyes, you should still see like the exact same black that you see when your eyes are closed. And this is just like the same thing. If your eyes kind of see any like light before you go to bed, they'll even if it's like miniature light, like it can be like a small alarm clock or maybe your phone, whatever, it'll like just indirectly mess it up. I'm not going to go into the full ultra science stuff because this is not what this is for. Next, we have the elephant in the room, the most unmeasurable thing you can do. And this is socializing. This is something people brag about, right? People brag about how many friends they have. Like, I'm not going to go into it and say like, oh, it's about the quality of friends or whatever. But essentially, you have to be socializing with more people, because the more opportunities you get to meet someone cool, the higher chance you'll meet someone cool. And so you probably want to meet someone who has some like somewhat similar interests like you, or someone who's genuinely passionate about what they're doing. And so if you give yourself more opportunities to do that, you'll have a higher chance of meeting them. And so this is kind of your confidence level. Your confidence level is knowing the percentage of like how likely something will happen. And so if you're more experienced in what you're doing, your confidence will be higher, because the chances of success are a lot higher. And so for socializing, there is no like, there's sure like you can like cold approach and do this like specific line and say that word, whatever. And the best advice I can give you is to do it naturally. I know your natural self is this person who doesn't socialize, probably doesn't talk to people, but you can really easily become that person who talks to everyone in the gym. It's really not that hard. Start just by, talking to maybe that security guard, or talking to that like random person outside the store, or like giving a fist bump to the person when you walk into the gym, whatever. Or talk to that like buff guy in the gym, because these like buff guys, if you just like give them a compliment, if you just start off by giving someone a compliment, telling them that they're really good at something, bro, they're just gonna be friendly to you, because they know that you're probably gonna give another compliment once again, and they just feel valued. And by giving genuine compliments, saying what I really think, I've been able to naturally like myself, my own personality, not some like showed up like fake one. I've been genuinely able to connect with people. Like, I was in Thailand at this sort of like daytime party, and I just talked to this one guy. I thought he was really jacked. And so I approached him. I said, "Yo, bro, you're jacked." Right? Just like that. And I met him. He told me about how he's a coach. And he was actually one of the big reasons what influenced me to start this channel. He told me that he coaches people. He just lives in like Bali, Thailand, whatever. He just moves around. He does all this cool stuff. And he told me that I should start. And so I learned many lessons from him. I still talk to him. I'm actually going to meet up with him. And so the opportunities you get are absolutely insane. But I wouldn't have gotten those if I didn't do all the tons of rows of failure, of not essentially failure, but meeting people who I didn't think were that interesting to lead up to this one really cool guy. And lastly, pursue what you genuinely want to do. This will bring a kind of raw version of yourself, a version that is like unfiltered. And this is a lot more powerful than you realize, because you will filter out these people who won't be your genuine friends. You'll filter out those people you are unproductive with. You'll filter out those habits you like think are benefiting you, but actually aren't. And they're kind of disguised as being productive. Things that are, going towards a different goal, but are still productive, but are just going towards a different goal. And so if you dedicate that time instead to just pursuing what you actually want to do, right, that final goal, you'll get so much more results. And so you need to take some time, right, to plan out. Not take some time as in go and scroll YouTube videos after this, but take some time as in go in a room without your phone, just turn it off, throw it away into some landfill, whatever you do, and just go and write down on a paper, stuff you genuinely think you want to pursue. Figure it out and try stuff out. A big part of this, of being kind of true and honest, is content creation. Because this is the highest leverage way to impact people. If you know what you want to do, sort of like me, if you know what you want to do, you can impact so many people in the easiest way possible while having so much fun. This is what I want to do right now. And so I'm here talking to you. And you could be doing the same thing right now. Whatever thing you've overcome, maybe you figured something out. Maybe you just want to say something specific about this one day experience you had. Go and say that thing, and you won't regret it, because you will realize that there's so much more than just doing your schoolwork, than doing this ultra specific thing your parents told you to do because they want you to do it, whatever that goes on and on and on. But doing this is genuine dream you want to pursue, and by taking small steps towards it. Sure, these small steps aren't huge in the long run, in terms of the size of the step, but if you don't take the first step, you can't take the last one or the middle one. And so these steps are actually the hardest ones, because they're going from 0 to 1. And what this step mostly is finding out that you genuinely want to pursue this thing. So figure out and lock in on whatever you genuinely want to pursue. This will indirectly, or technically directly, change all your habits, because they will sort of be aligned to that goal you want to pursue. Sure, you have one habit going out that way to that goal, one habit to that one habit to that one. Maybe that's worth that one, But if you want to figure out, let's say, this one here, you'll just direct all those habits towards this one. Maybe they won't all be super specific. For example, socializing. How does that impact calisthenics? Okay, you'll be more motivated. You'll have more people to talk about calisthenics. You'll build your sort of personality around it. You'll be able to teach people. And so this is the best way to learn. And so you'll reach this point where people know you as sort of the calisthenics guy. And so you'll have even more motivation to go and chase those results, chase that goal you want to have. And then by definition, your habits and your daily life will just be revolving around all of that. And you won't have time to do this BS scrolling or whatever, because you just won't find a purpose for it. And everyone will see that you're moving towards that. And so you'll have people who genuinely like that you're moving towards that goal, but you'll have people who don't. And that is why you're doing it, to filter out those people who aren't following you towards your goal. when you figure out, like, those people who clap and cheer on when you get closer to your goal, when you achieve your goal, that's when you realize how many true friends you have. That is it for today. See you, bro. Keep overloading.